Obviously, after Teofimo Lopez beat Josh Taylor, he won the WBO title and the lineal title as well, off Josh Taylor. And then one thing I was thinking is, one fighter that has got good standing with the WBO is actually Jack Catterall, because the fact is, his promoter Frank Warren has obviously got close relationship with the WBO, and on top of that, in his last fight, I believe he won a WBO international title. Now, because of that, I think one interesting fight that could be made is Jack Catterall versus Teofimo Lopez. Now, I think that's a great fight. Whether Teofimo Lopez takes the fight is another question, indeed, because Jack Catterall is a fighter that's high risk, low reward, and it could be said, obviously, I believe that he beat Josh Taylor. You can argue, obviously, on paper it says something different, but both of these men have actually beaten Josh Taylor, so them both fighting each other actually makes a lot of sense. But I can see why Teofimo Lopez probably wouldn't want that fight. He probably wants a bigger name with a higher profile, so the likes of like a Gervonta Davis, a Devin Haney, them types of names is probably what he's looking at as a potential opponent for him to fight. A name that's a kind of bigger for him in the perspective of commercially a bigger fight. He's more likely to take a fight against them than he is to take a fight against Jack Catterall. That's my opinion. I think that's what's likely to happen. But I'm just saying, the fact that he won a WBO title and the fact that he's going in there against obviously Jack Catterall's got a close relationship with the WBO. I think it makes a lot of sense to actually put on a performance, to put on a fight between Jack Catterall and Teofimo Lopez, and obviously I think it's a fight that's very competitive. I think Jack Catterall is almost like a dark horse in the division. He's a fighter that's vastly underrated. Obviously, his profile went up after he beat the brakes off Josh Taylor. I know you can argue that didn't happen because of the fact that what the scorecards and what the decision officially says, but I think we all know that he won that fight against Josh Taylor. Jack Catterall did. So from that perspective, I think it's an interesting fight, and I think it's a good fight. But unfortunately for Jack Catterall, I don't think that it's a fight that can be made. It can be made, but it's not a fight that's likely to happen, because I think Teofimo Lopez is looking at different opponents that are probably likely to be more commercial, like who actually knows Jack Catterall in the US. I don't think he's got a massive following over there, so from that perspective, I just think it's not a fight that's likely to actually come into fruition, unfortunately for Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall is probably one of the most unluckiest people in the actual light welterweight division. Here's a fighter that's who arguably beat Josh Taylor. He could have become undisputed, but it never happened because of a horrible robbery. And now, even though he's won the WBO international belt, it's not likely that the guy that beat the guy that he beat is likely to fight him now. So yeah, it's unfortunate for him, but it's just politics at the end of the day. But what do you think? How would you think that fight would go between them two? Do you think it's a fight that's likely to actually happen, or is it a fight that's never going to happen, or is it a fight that could happen? And who do you think will win? I actually think Jack Catterall probably gives Teofimo Lopez a lot better fight than a lot of people would think. So tell me what you think below. What's actually likely to be the next step for both fighters? Where does Teofimo Lopez go? Who does he fight next? And where does Jack Catterall go? Tell me below, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace.